Welcome back friends to the class number 57. Now we want to understand how do we calculate the eligibility of the term loans, right? In the previous video we have discussed that their eligibility is calculated basis DSCR, that is debt service coverage ratio. So in this video we will try to understand how do we calculate DSCR of a client, right? So before starting the calculation methodology, I want to make you understand a very simple thing which is practically the base for this video. So suppose a borrower comes for a loan he wants to purchase a machinery, so he wants a machinery term loan from you of rupees 50 lakhs, right? He wants machinery term loan of rupees 50 lakhs. So suppose this is a timeline and this is today, t is equal to 0. This is the past and this is the future, right? So you already know the future is unpredictable. You cannot predict the future, it is uncertain, right? So the machinery term loan of rupees 50 lakhs you are giving to the borrower today. You are giving the loan of rupees 50 lakhs today, and he will repay these 50 lakh rupees in the coming future. The future period will be the period in which these 50 lakh rupees loan will be paid back to us by way of monthly installments, right? Monthly repayment of principal and interest. So we need to make sure that the borrower is earning enough profits in the future, enough cash profit in the future, which will be used to repay our debt. So we don't know the future. That we already know. We already know his past. That how much he has earned in his past, right? So for that record, we take his balance sheets and profit and loss accounts. So from profit and loss account, we try to assess his or her cash profit, the cash profit of the business, the profit which they have actually earned in cash, that we try to understand from its past trends. So the whatever profits that we have seen in the past, we assume that client will continue to sustain or earn these profits, bare minimum these level of profits in the future period as well, if not higher. Client will be earning bare minimum these much of sustainable profits in the future. So we try to calculate DSCR based on his past earnings and based on his future obligations. These obligations are to be paid in the futures, but the earnings are earned in the past, which we assume that will continue to be remained in the future period as well, right? So the earnings that we calculate of the previous period need to be filtered out properly. These income that we are calculating from its past results should be a very conservative and proper income, that we presume that whatever happens, this much profit, this much income will be generated by the client in the future as well, and from these income this income is sufficient enough to repay client's existing obligation of principal and interest plus the new obligation of principal and interest, right? So this is the basic theme. We are assessing the past income. We are presuming that the past income shall be sustained in the future, and that income is sufficient to repay all principal and interest obligation of existing debt and the new debt that we are proposing, right? Sometimes when we give home loan to the clients or loan against property, LAP loan to the clients, these loans are given even for 15 years, 20 years, 30 years tenure. Home loan is also given for 30 years tenure in India, right? So you are practically assuming that client's income shall remain consistent for next 30 years period, right? So imagine how much risky assumption you are doing practically when you assess these types of loans. So let us start now the today's ratio, that is debt service coverage ratio. How much client is earning in cash in his business which is sustainable in future, and whether that income is sufficient to pay off our existing plus proposed debt obligations or not. That is the core theme of this ratio, right? So this is a very critical benchmark for the business, and the DSCR ratio calculation is very simple. That is what you earn and what you need to pay. Income divided by obligation, what you earn and what you pay, that is your DSCR, right? So what are you paying? What are you paying? So the things that you are paying is called debt. That includes both your existing debt, existing principal and interest obligations, plus the proposed debt, the new debt that you are taking from us, right? So all debt, including past plus newly proposed debt, their interest and principal combined is your obligation for total debt, existing plus new proposed, right? So question simply remains, how do we calculate income? Since we are doing a very risky deal, we are presuming that these profits shall remain to be, the client shall keep on earning these profits in future. So we are doing very risky assumption. So the income need to be very filtered out and very conservative, right? So how do we calculate this income? That sustainable income, that is sustainable in the future period also. How do we calculate it? So we take net profit first of all, the bottom line of the company's profit and loss account, net profit. We can take after tax or before tax. That is purely the individual choice of the organization. How do they want to calculate it? So if you take net profit after tax, right? Supposingly you are taking after tax, then you add, since this profit is not your cash profit, you want to first calculate your cash profits from the business. So you add back the depreciation, which is a non-cash expense, and any other type of non-cash expense that you see in your profit and loss account, in which there is no practical cash outflow, any provisions, any write-offs, any amortizations, right? These all non-cash expenses shall be added back here because they are already deducted from these profits. So we add them back, and we try to nullify their impacts from the profit. Similarly, if there is any income which is not earned in cash, which is basically a credit entry only, any write-off, any provisions written back, right? So any non-cash incomes you deduct from here because it is already added in the net profit. So you want to nullify its effect, then you deduct that non-operating, non-cash income. So the balance you get is your cash profit. Since you have eliminated the impact of non-cash expenses and incomes, you have got the figure of cash profit in the business, right? Now there is very important adjustment that you need to make. We want to calculate the sustainable income of the business. Sustainable income. So you clear out any such type of income which is non-operating, which is exceptional in nature or one time in nature, which is extraordinary, which is non-recurring in nature. Suppose this is the profit and loss account and this is the net profit of rupees 1000. Suppose the borrower has received a insurance claim. Suppose the borrower has received a insurance claim of rupees 500, right? So this 500 rupees is automatically included in his profits. If there were no insurance claim in his business, then his profit would have been rupees 500 only, right? So tell me friends, we want to ascertain that what income that the borrower earns, that he will continue to earn from his business in future period as well. So whether he will be continuing to earn these 500 rupees in the future period as well, yes or no? You tell me. The answer is no. This is not a sustainable income. This is an extraordinary, this is a one-time income, non-recurring type of income, non-business income. So we do not include any such income which we are not sure that we will continue to earn that in future period as well, which is not a regular income. We will deduct or clear out all these incomes from his profit calculation. So we will deduct all these incomes, right? So similarly, any extraordinary expense, supposedly there is a loss by fire of rupees 800, right? Loss by fire of rupees 800 and his net profits are rupees 500. Suppose there is no such thing of claim insurance. His net profits are rupees 500. We want to see how much he will continue to earn in future period as well. What is his sustainable income, right? So this 800 rupees loss is an exceptional loss. We cannot assume that this 800 rupees loss by fire will continue to occur in future period as well. This is a mishappening, a one-time mishappening that has happened to the client, which has resulted in a reduction in his profit. So if there were no loss by fire, his profit would have been rupees 1300 rupees, right? So any extraordinary expense we will add them back, right? So if we add them back, then we get the sustainable cash income. What we get? Sustainable cash income. This is the income which is earned in cash, which has nullified the impact of extraordinary income and expenses. We presume that this income shall be continued to be earned in the future period as well. But there is one more adjustment that you need to do in this income. Your numerator and denominator must represent the same picture. Your income that you are calculating, the interest cost is already deducted from the net profits. The interest expense on your existing debt is already deducted from the net profits, right? So if it is already deducted from the net profits, that means they are already paid by from the profits. They are already paid by us, right? So if they are already paid by us, then why do we need to compare them again in the obligations, since the income that we have taken have already taken into account the adjustment of payment of interest on existing debt, right? So in order to bring the balance, you have to add back the interest as well, right? Hope you have understood this. You have to add back the interest and finance cost as per the profit and loss account, not the proposed interest. Friends, there is a difference. In obligations, you are taking proposed interest obligation as well, but here you are adding back the interest only that is debited in your profit and loss account, right? So that will be your total income for DSCR that you will put here. Obligations, you must be already knowing what are your obligations. You divide both, then you get your DSCR. Higher the DSCR, the better it is. Normally, the acceptable level is greater than 1, but generally, organization accept the DSCR ratio of 1.1 or 1.2x. They do not like that your income is rupees 100, obligation rupees 100, and DSCR is 1. They do not see this as a perfect picture, because you are sitting on a borderline, you are sitting on a time bomb. Any uncertainty in the future, any decline in income in the future, or rise in obligation in the future may critically hamper your ability to pay off your obligations in the future. That is why we want to take some leverage. We want to take some extra cover. We prefer that the DSCR should be like this, 1.2x. We want to have a buffer of rupees 20 as well here, right? So this is practically DSCR, my friends. In the next video, we will cover what are the limitations and what are the drawbacks of calculating DSCR. Stay tuned with this channel. Thank you very much.